helpful if I would add my. Hey, I hope y'all can hear me okay. Sorry for the delay there. I may need to restart this if it's not working. Let's see. Is this working? It says upcoming. Why is it not showing? Let's see here. Somebody sent me some messages. All right, cool. All right, let's see. Is this working or not? Let me go to YouTube and see if this is even showing. Still learning a little bit about this. I forgot to add myself. So, okay, it looks like it is working. All right, good. 9 people watching. All right, cool. The let's see, where are the comments? All right. Can y'all hear me okay or not? Oh, might also help if I showed comments. There we go. Now I can see. I'm still learning here. My apologies. All right. So, hey, what's up, Ricky? All right. So, yeah, loud and clear. Good. Glad to hear it. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate it. So, I wanted to discuss a little bit about our yard tour. We had a question today that I thought was a good question, so I figured I'd go ahead and address that question. Somebody asked, Lee, why the $100 fee for a yard tour? Obviously, if we were to collect a fee from anybody for a yard tour, that fee would be accredited towards the purchase of a dog. So anybody that buys a dog from us, there basically is no yard fee. I don't want to charge anybody to see what the parents of their dogs are like or what the family of dogs are like. I feel like when you buy a dog, you're entitled to see what the dogs are and not have to pay anything. So that fee is obviously eliminated for anybody that buys a dog from us. However, the reason why I have that is we provide a ton of videos and pictures. We show the hip x-rays of the dogs that we have, their pedigrees, and a lot more information for free online. And we like our clients to see that information before they come here. So when they come here, I don't have to start from ground zero. They already have a little bit of background information about what they're looking at. Also, anybody that doesn't want to come here is given that information for free as well. But for the people that do come here, obviously, if you're not a client, I have to be a little skeptical and protective of my facility. You know, we don't run a petting zoo, and some people want to see what the facility is like so they can get their own ideas and set up their own program, and that's fine. I don't mind that, but I'm going to charge them for that. And then some people want to look and play with the dogs. Again, we're not a petting zoo. And then you also have PETA type organizations or animal rights activists that just want to try to collect incriminating data because they just don't like pet ownership, and we want to avoid those things. And then you also have a group of dog thieves that want to know where the puppies are that are separated from their mother and possibly could be stolen, and they may want to do some reconnaissance and try to figure out where the security cameras and things like that. So we charge a $100 fee to see the yard if you're not a customer of ours, and that way we vet our clients a little bit. And also for the ones who are clients, they get a little bit of background information by looking at the information that we provide for free before they get here. Now you have to realize I'm basically a one-man outfit. Yes, I have a family, but my wife has a full-time job herself, and we also have a family. So when I'm working 80 hours a week, I need to prioritize my time for my clients. So I just wanted to go ahead and address why we have that fee, and I hope that makes good sense to everybody that is interested in visiting. We'll be glad to let you visit, but if you're not a client, you'll have to pay that fee. Now, as far as 2024, this year's wrapping up. You know, it's almost we've got like a little over a month and a half left for the end of the year, and it's been a rough year with this economy. You know, we've had to come out of our own pocket to finance the dogs this year, but fortunately, we were blessed and able to do that. But I take this bad economy and try to make the best of it. So we use that as an opportunity to cull hard and make the program better, keeping the best dogs, the best of the best dogs for ourselves or our clients, and just trying to raise the standard. If something wasn't going to sell and it was an apex individual, we would make sure that that dog either was kept in our program or sent to somebody that was going to do something with it. Um, but good news for 2024, or excuse me, for 2025, is we have some really nice young up and comers that we're planning on turning into some demo dogs and take things to the next level. So right now we have some young dogs off of Slam and Banshee that I'm excited about. We've got 3 that we kept for ourselves, um, 1 male and 2 females. All 3 of them are very nice specimen. And then we also kept a male and a female over at Ryan Keaton's place at Deep South Sentinels that he's going to work with and see how they go. I would actually say out of that litter, I probably got the best 2 females, and Ryan's probably got the best male. I really like the male that we put in his hands, and I think it's going to be great. But I like my male too, and he likes his female too. That was a real good litter. All 5 of those dogs are really nice top shelf dogs, so it should be really good. Then we have some breedings with Boomer and Pumpkin that I'm really looking forward to see how those work out. Those are going to be purebred pit bulls, of course. And then, but having a nice demo sentinel that's fully trained again will be good for the program. So we want to do that. Let's see, let me drop this banner here. Be sure to like and subscribe and share the content if you're willing to do that. See, I need to go back and update something on my page. I think I messed up here. Let me check something out. Working? All right, good. Then let's see here. So excuse me. I want to also give a real quick shout out to my friend Eric Lawton over at Battlebred Canine. I want to show you. We'll do a screen share. I hope you don't mind. He made an updated trailer for American Sentinel Canine, and I'm going to share that updated trailer here in my live if you don't mind. Should be a little short. I'm going to click that open, and I got to do a screen share. So if y'all haven't seen this, make sure you check out my friend's channel himself at his own place, Battlebred Canine. He's got a YouTube channel, but he made this trailer for me. So this should be showing. Rewind that real quick. This is a dog on a wild hog. It's hard to tell in that picture. That's Justice. That's Rebel. That's Justice. I think that other one was Justice. I'll have to go back and watch. That's Scratch right there. So I just wanted to give a shout out to. Let me see.
So how old?
Let's give it. Just wanted to give a shout out to. Let's pause that. So that's a wild hog. I wish that was a better image. And that next one was, yeah, I think that's Justice. It's hard to tell if that's Justice or somebody else, Scratch maybe. All right, let me stop sharing that page. Go back to StreamYard and see the comments if there's some new ones. Thanks, Jermaine. Well, thank you for coming in. What's the weight and range of the American Pit Bull Terriers that I produced? Well, I was actually surprised that Boomer was as heavy as he is when I took him in and had him weighed for at the vet clinic. We did a hip X-ray, and his hip X-ray is excellent, so I'm glad about that. Um, and then he weighed 58 pounds, and actually the scale was bouncing 58.60, but I like to report what I believe, and I imagine if he was emptied, he'd probably be 58 pounds. And I'll show y'all his hip X-ray, which was really good. Now, some people don't know how to read a hip X-ray, so I'll discuss that as well. Show you what to look for when you're looking at a hip X-ray. Let's see, share screen. All right. All right, so this is Boomer right here. And the next we have, this is his hip X-ray. So this is the pelvis right here. And in an ideal X-ray, this dish of the pelvis and this portion of the pelvis, you'd have the same angle. This one's tilted slightly to the dog's left, and so that's why you can see a little bit more of this dish here. But that's pretty darn good, to be honest with you, because we're not using anesthesia, so we're putting this dog in position and we hold him there while we shoot the X-ray. So that's pretty good positioning. It's not perfect positioning, but it's certainly plenty good for us to see what we need to see. The next thing you want to look for in a hip X-ray is these femurs should be fairly close to parallel. We could have pulled these legs in a little bit more, but they're pretty close. Certainly good enough for us to see what we need to look at. And then ideally the patella, which is right here, the kneecap or the stifle cap in a dog, but it's the kneecap. You should have those pretty much centered as well. So this dog is in pretty good positioning. I would say, 90 out of 100 in terms of positioning goes. But what we're looking at is we're looking at this dish here in the pelvis. And we're also looking at the head of the femur. So this is excellent. If we zoom in here on this, you'll see there's a nice deep dish, real clean lines, and the head of the femur sits nicely in that pocket on both of those. So we have a really good joint on Boomer. Then this is Banshee, and hers looks really good as well. So here the positioning is a little better. You can see that this pelvis here and this pelvis here are pretty much symmetrical. So we have her straight up and down on her back. Okay, so that's really good positioning here. The femurs are a little bit more parallel, so that's really good positioning there. The kneecap here shows up real good. I'm not sure why this one's not showing up real good. I don't know if that's it or if it just didn't catch on the X-ray just due to the intensity of the X-ray. But regardless, if you look at her sockets are also very nice and clean, deep, nice sockets. Then we also have Venom. This is Americans. So those first two X-rays I showed are excellent. This is Venom, and hers was not quite as good as I'd like, but still good. It's I'm going to say it's at least a fair. We're actually waiting on the radiologist because of the depth of these sockets. He might actually say this is good, but I'm trying to be conservative for right now. I'm just going to say a fair plus, possibly a weak good, a low good, or a high fair. And that's because the lines here are still nice and the femurs are still very clearly in the pockets. Okay, so we'll get the official rating on that from our vet when he's available. Hey, Rocky Bow, Red-Nosed American Pit Bull Terrier, thank you for joining us. It's nice to see you here. People are asking. Hip stocking looking well. I'm not sure which one they're talking about, but all three of them are pretty good. Two of them are excellent. The worst one is still at least a fair. Now, as far as hip X-rays go, the main thing you don't want to see is the joint like not in the socket properly, or if you see an irregular shape where there's not a good clean line around the way that femur fits into that section there. Someone has a quick question. What's the weight range of the American Pit Bull Terriers that we produce? So Boomer is about 58 to 60 pounds. I actually expected him to be about 57 pounds. So I was a little surprised he was 58, 59. He's not fat. He's in good shape. He's not conditioned weight. That's just going to be chain weight, but he's in good shape. And he's only right at like 2 years old. So in the next year, he may still put on a little bit more weight, but not much. And he could obviously drop 5 pounds if you really condition him and got him into peak condition. Let's see. Somebody said that they like my approach. I'm assuming that they're talking about my yard tour. I want people to come if they want to come. They're entitled to see a dog. A lot of dog men, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people that breed dogs don't allow people to their yard. They're concerned about dog thieves. They're concerned about animal rights activists trying to cause trouble for them. They're concerned about disease coming onto their yard. So a lot of people don't allow it. But I personally think that if you're going to buy a dog, you should know the family and get to see those dogs. However, I also understand why dog breeders don't let people onto their yard. And I actually learned the tip from Pat Patrick about charging a $100 fee unless a person is a customer, a paying customer. A paying customer can come for free. But if you're not a paying customer, he said he charged $100, and that was 20 years ago, 30 years ago that he was doing that, and he required ID. He would ask people what their name was, and then after they asked him for the name, then he would say, I want to see an ID, because he just wanted to make sure he wasn't going to have any problems with dog thieves. I don't ask for ID. Maybe I should, but I don't. And of course, if they pay that fee, it's applied towards the purchase of an animal. But this eliminates dog thieves. This eliminates people wanting to get advice for free. If they want advice, at least they paid for it. We'll be glad to help people out. But working 80 hours a week, I need to make sure I spend my time with the clients that are sincere about what we're doing. So that prevents disease. It prevents snoopers and thieves and stuff like that. Prevents tire kickers, etc. Hey, Aaron, what's up? How are you doing? Jermaine Hunter says, thanks, great content. Thanks, I appreciate that. And let's scroll on down. Our females, back to this weight range of our pit bulls. The males are typically going to be 54 to 60 pounds. Females are going to be basically 5 pounds smaller. Anywhere, I would maybe even a little bit more than that. Maybe anywhere from, for the females, 45 to 55. Banshee is 55 pounds. On the scale yesterday, I need to update her website. I'll probably list her at 54 because she's had a couple litters, so she's carrying a little bit of weight that she wouldn't be carrying if she was never bred. But she's not fat. She's in great shape. She's a solid dog. How much do you like Leela Jean? Will grow being 9 months. Okay, cool. So Risky Y, you're the guy that got Leela Jean. Very cool, because nobody else really knows about her being 9 months old. If I would have known she was 9 months old, it would have been hard for me to let go of her. She's a small dog, but she's put together out of Reptar and Rosebud. That's going to be a really nice dog. And I'll tell you why she's named Leela Jean. We liked her so much as a pup that we named her after my daughter, Caroline, because Caroline's middle name is Leela Jean. Really like that dog. And I hope that you let me breed to her someday in the future. But right now, I'm going to guess that she's about 50 pounds, 54 pounds, probably. I don't know. You can let me know if you weigh her, or when you weigh her. And being 9 months old, she'll probably gain another 10 pounds. So she's not going to be a big dog, but at 75% American Pit Bull Terrier, being out of Reptar and Rosebud is 100% purebred American Pit Bull Terrier. She's probably going to be 60, 65 full grown, which is small. But see, I was okay with that because we have some bigger dogs that we were going to take her back to in the future to get the size back up. And Rosebud is a really nice producer. I love Boomer and Scarlet. And people that don't think an American Pit Bull Terrier can do protection work, come mess with Caroline with Scarlet in the house, and you're going to regret it. Scarlet loves that little girl, and she's not going to tolerate any aggression towards our family. She's a great dog, super stable with the family. If y'all have any questions about the hips x-rays and you want me to show them again, just let me know. I'll be glad to explain it the best I can. A professional radiologist will be able to see more than what I see, but I can at least point out the general things that we're looking at. Finally caught you live. Cheers from Rocky, Colorado. Thanks for joining us. Wait, I have some of your videos on my channel. I'm not sure what channel that is. Let me know what it is. We'll check it out. Haley, what's up? Thanks for the great content. Thank you for dropping by. And the guy that got Leela Jean says awesome. So yeah, I would love to see Leela Jean. And if you do want to breed her, if she turns out to be worthy, which I think she's going to be worthy, let me know. We have a video of Leela Jean. For those of you who don't know who she is, I'll share that video with you. I don't know if it's public or not. I think it's private. Let's see. That one's probably going to be on my other channel. So on my productions channel. I don't know if I put that one on my productions channel or if I put that on my primary channel. So let's check this out and see. And this one, I believe, is going to be a private video, but y'all get a glimpse of it here. Yes, here it is. And it's unlisted. So let me open that up, and y'all can see who Leela Jean is out of Reptar. This is Ricky Wise pup coming in that y'all are fixing to see.
All right, so this is Leela Jean out of Reptar and Rosebud.
9 months old on the 11th. So in 3 days, she'll be 9 months old.
She's a real solid girl. She's small. I don't know what she weighs. If I had to guess, I would say 55 pounds. And she's a little fat, so she could lose weight, but she's also going to probably grow some more. But 55 pounds is probably going to be a pretty accurate adult weight. And for 75% American Pit Bull Terrier, certainly small on the sentinel blood, but it's bred back to a big dog like Jaguar, then we should have some good sized dogs. Frankly, I wouldn't wait till she's 5 years old to breed, because if you don't breed, or 5 years from now, which she'll be 6 years old, because if you don't breed a dog within their first 4 years or so, sometimes they'll have problems with reproduction.
Now I want to stop it here real quick since we can kind of see her profile. I said she's a little fat. A lot of people, in my opinion, keep their dogs too heavy. This dog here is probably in good shape for most people. I like my dogs to have a tuck up, so you can see her chest is deeper than her abdomen. Her abdomen comes up a little bit, even though I think she's a little heavy.
And I would like something off of her.
I also don't like my young dogs to be lean. I want them to be not fat, but not super lean. I think I do a helicopter or two with her.
Who's a red nose?
I think I spin her around. I'm not 100% sure if I do it or not. I haven't worked her in a little while, so it's nice to see a dog come out of the kennel and show this level of drive for not being worked for a while.
Boy,
obviously she's cared for every day, but working them and caring for them are two different things. I don't like to work a dog when they're teething.
So that's Leela Jean. Let me grab the camera. Come here, girl.
Well, I guess I don't helicopter her. Well, let's check out another one here real quick that I want to show you. Let's see.
And I would like to actually keep her, but I also want to treat my customers right. So
on that note, I'll tell you, we had a dog.
Come on, girl. This way.
From him that I just didn't like the way she moved as well as I would personally want to see a dog move. So
good movement.
I called him up and told him, hey, I'd rather send you this other
She
dog
didn't say
instead, and he was good with it. So I gave him my own pick for that. All right, let me stop sharing that page and go to Tigress here.
All right, so
This is Tigress. This is a
red
young dog that we're keeping out of Slam and Banshee. This
here's a little Tigress.
little pup here is an absolute firecracker, and we have a brother of her
Very intense pup.
that is
Out of
also
Banshee.
a firecracker of a dog.
Hi! Hi!
The brother, we have another brother available that's really nice, a buckskin dog that's really nice.
Obviously, I'm not hitting the dog.
Tigress is the smallest one in this litter, but as intense and confident as she is,
So enough of the rag,
I'm looking forward to
see, she's not
her
worried about
development.
that.
We got a big sister of her and a big brother of hers.
Extremely prey-driven dog.
And she'll just hold on for a long time. But I do like to set them down on their feet. I don't want to wait till their grip gets loose.
They get me dizzy.
All right.
Holler at me if you're interested. Slam and Banshee, 90%.
I'm gonna keep her actually. And then let's see what else we've got. So let's go back to the. All right, are y'all looking at me right now? Let's see. I need to check my channel and make sure y'all are looking at me. That's enough of those videos for now. See if this is working. My apologies. Yeah, it looks like it's working good. All right, let's see. Scroll back up. What's the difference between the Banshee litter and the Danger Aries litter as far as breeding? I don't know Aries. That's going to be I know who Danger is. He's a great dog. I think Aries is the English Mastiff. Is that right? So that's a lot different. That's almost a completely different direction. So Aries is an English Mastiff that Ryan recently got. If I remember correctly, I may be misspeaking there, but Banshee was bred to Slam, and Slam is 80% pit bull, and Banshee is 100% pit bull. So the Slam and Banshee is 90% pit, but Danger is 75% pit, and Aries, if she's the English Mastiff, that's going to put those pups at 37.5% pit. So they're going to be a very low percentage of pit bull and a very high percentage of Mastiff blood. So that's quite a bit different. And that's if Aries is the English Mastiff, which I am not sure if that's the case. I don't remember the name of that dog. Productions channel, yeah. Would you take a Banshee pup to an Aries pup? Yeah, I mean, if they're working quality, you got to let them grow up and see how they work. But the pedigrees would be fine if the dogs work. But the pedigree doesn't make the dog. Well, the pedigree obviously is what makes the dog, but the pedigree doesn't mean anything unless the dog is good. So if the dog is good, then the pedigree matters. If the dog is not good, then the pedigree doesn't. Every litter, if you have, let's say, 10 pups, you're going to have that bell-shaped curve where some of them are good and some of them are not so good, and most of them are in between. So you're always trying to, people think that you can get away from that bell-shaped curve. You're not going to get away from that bell-shaped curve. It looks like this. So it goes up and then it goes down. And so you're going to have that distribution. And I don't care how good of a breeder you are, you're going to always have that bell-shaped curve. Even if they're all great, there's still going to be a curve because some are going to be more great than others. And even if they're all coals, there's still going to be some that are worse coals than others. So that's just the way a bell-shaped curve is. We'll show you what I'm talking about here. For those, most of you have probably seen it, but before on my channel before. But it doesn't hurt to hit topics for the people that come in and haven't seen me discuss this. So this is what a population distribution looks like. A bell-shaped curve. You're going to have your average in the litter. So let's say there's 10 pups. Well, let's just say there was 100 pups. You breed 100 pups. Okay, no single litter is going to have 100 pups, but we're going to say 100 because it's got percentages down here. So out of 100 pups, you'd have 68 of them would be the average. Now, if it's a great litter, you'll have 68 of them being great. And then you'll have 15 of them down here that are not so great. And you'll have 15 of here being exceptionally great. So 13 plus 2 is 15, right? Actually, it rounds up to 16 because of the decimal point. So in every litter, there's going to be a population distribution where some are better. Here's the average of the litter, and then some are worse. So that's just the way the population distribution works. And you want to stick with, when you're a breeder, you're going to try to find these great individuals. Now, some people might say every dog in the litter is great. Okay, this curve can be shifted to the right, which is better than average, but you're still going to have individuals that are better than others in that litter. And a breeder's goal is to make sure that the best of the best of the best are kept in the breeding program, not necessarily on their yard, but in the breeding program. So they could be, kept by the breeder, or they could be kept by the breeder's friends, or put in the hands of clients that are breeders, or put in the hands of people that are going to really work the dogs and need an outstanding animal. So that's what a population distribution is. So as far as what do I think about breeding this dog to that dog, you got to let those dogs grow up and test them and see how they work at the end of the day. All right, just asking as far as keeping lines tight. As far as keeping the lines tight, there's going to be a lot of Lucky 7 in there, because Banshee's grandfather is Lucky 7, and Slam's father is Lucky 7, and Danger's father is Lucky 7. So you'd have a Lucky 7 baseline if that worked out. Which there's nothing wrong with Lucky 7. He's not as intelligent as some of the other dogs, but he's definitely a good worker. And he's very athletic and very strong, and he has good size. So there's a lot to be said about him. He had excellent hips too, very good hips, and really excellent hips. Let's see. Oh yeah, your opinion on swimming dogs. I think swimming is great, and we've been battling lily pads in our pond. But we used to do a lot of swimming with our dogs in the pond. But I got to get those lily pads out of there, because if a dog gets wrapped up in that, they can drown. Hey, did you see my post? Some dude saying the most dog man can't name 3 dogs that made a beat. Yeah, I saw it. But anybody can look that information up. Ooh, let me hide this banner. Be sure to click and like and subscribe. Let me hide that. Drop your questions or comments if you have a question or comment. All right. Jalik. Yeah, what's up? Jalik's a good guy. Let's see. Yeah. The there it is, the English Mastiff. Yeah, that's what I thought. Any breedings coming up with Scratch? Yeah, we have we bred Scratch to Trinity, and she's taken. I can tell that she's taken. So we're expecting a nice litter out of that. Trinity has produced really well for us. I really like the pups that we got out of Danger in Trinity. I had one that I kept for myself, and I have a friend that's bought a dog from me before. He wanted a really good female, and I let him talk me out of the female that I kept out of that litter for myself. So it was disappointing to let it go, but sometimes you got to just recognize the commitment and appreciation that other people are going to bring to the program. And when you see somebody that's committed to the program and going to do right, you can let them have one of your good dogs, of course. So we bred Scratch Trinity, and we'll check those out. I'd like to breed the Danger again. He seems to be a good producer. Whether it be with Trinity or somebody else, I'm not sure. All right. What's good, Lee? Hey, Jalik, nice to see you, brother. All right. So I don't know if there's any other questions, but if there are any other questions, I want to look at my feed here. Let's see. This is another one of my females that we are keeping out of Slam and Banshee. I named her Kamora, which is like an arm bar for those that you don't know.
Personal pick, top pick female out of Slam and Banshee that we're keeping.
Natural Tigress is really good. I think Tigress.
Phenomenal dog.
Right now, I might change that.
But I think Kamora is my favorite female in the litter. And then I'll show you our male here in a minute, which he's really nice. I do like our male a lot, but I also think that the male that we gave up to Ryan at Deep South Sentinels is probably the best male, and my male's right there with him. But then I would say I got the best female.
Sound.
He's got a good female too. Don't get me wrong. We're splitting hairs in this litter. It was very consistent.
Good girl, Kamora. Good girl, Kamora. Bring it here.
She likes to grab anything, and I don't like them getting on the leash part. I like them to stay on the tug. So I'll go dead with it and don't let her have as much fun. And by not letting her have as much fun, it's easier to redirect her. You saw me shaking that whip to the side, and she let go of the strap to look at the whip. That allows me to get her back on the burlap. Not sure if Devin Gamble's still here or not, but boy, you would really like that female Tigress. She's gritty. But we're holding on to both of those females. Both of them have solid grips.
All right, that's my girl.
Kamora's just a little bit bigger. Then we have, let's see if I can find my male. Here's my male out of Slam and Banshee. I call him Little Demon. Let's see here. This is Little Demon. Or Demon, I should say. I expect Demon to be a pretty big dog, despite being 90% pit bull. He'll probably be 80 pounds. We'll see. And this dog's only like 3 months old or something like that right now. And this is, like I said, in my opinion, the second pick male. And then Ryan's got the first pick male, but all those dogs in that litter were really good. So the worst one in the litter is still a great dog. Still a population distribution, but they're definitely shifted to the performance side.
Hey, Demon.
I don't even know if I've watched this video yet. I hope that you can see this pup. I should have had the camera pointing a little lower. Let me scroll fast. Okay, it doesn't look like you get to see him anymore, so we'll go ahead and exit that. All right. Could you comment on dog aggression levels when it comes to your protection line on the ASC on a scale of 10 being American Pit Bull Terrier level? I would say just as high. The dog aggression on our dogs is pretty high. I would not put a male with another male and a female with another female. A male and a female, though, can work pretty well. And some people that may bother some people, I guess you should say, but it doesn't bother me because a protection dog should protect against any threat, man or beast. And so if you're a jogger, you're more likely to encounter a dog. In fact, anybody. FBI statistics show that you're 4 times more likely to be attacked by another animal, or specifically a dog, than you are to be attacked by a human being. So if you're 4 times more likely to be attacked by a dog, in my opinion, the best canine protector would be a dog that can protect against any threat. So that includes other animals. And so since I think it's fine to have a male and a female. You're not going to really be able to manage more than 2 dogs at any time because you only have 2 arms to hold 2 leashes. So a male and a female works good if you want 2 dogs to live together. But if you want 2 males, maybe a lap dog would get along with one of these dogs because they wouldn't see a lap dog as an issue. They'd probably see it more like a puppy. But you're running a risk factor when you're dealing with an American Sentinel, which catches hogs, and you're going to ask it to get along with, let's say, a cat or a rabbit or some other form of pet. It's a risky thing to do. They're not livestock guardians, and so they're not flock dogs. They act like a pit bull. All right, just bigger, stronger. All right, let's see. I missed that question earlier. My apologies for that. Let's scroll down to back to any breedings with scratch. Well, Devin and I have discussed this, taking his bitch Xena back to scratch. I think that would be awesome. I like Xena. Xena, for those of you that don't know, she's out of Justice and Mystique, and Mystique was out of Reptar and Halo. Sorry, I was looking at Reptar there. I thought I heard a upset stomach. I saw him eat some grass earlier, but he's just sleeping. I'd love to help build a facility. I do a lot of housework. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll have you down here if you want to. And look, I'm not looking for free labor. We do pay people for their work. Let's see what's next. Thoughts on DSS's Fury? Fury's got great drives. He's got a hard bite. Like a few of our dogs, like Reptar, he's a little cowhawked in the back end, but he's still athletic, in my understanding. I think he can jump a 6-foot fence. So he's still athletic. Don't let the cowhawk scare you. It's just a cosmetic thing unless it impedes their movement, which it doesn't seem to impede his movement at all. He's a solid dog. I'm going to be coming down to breed Xena to my rustic bitch to scratch. Hopefully at the same time. You're going to do a dual breeding and then have to do a DNA test? That's going to be a tough one. Let me read that again. I'm going to be coming down to breed Xena. And oh, you're talking about breeding 2 bitches to scratch. Hopefully at the same time. Are they going to come in heat at the same time and be in sync? Or are you just going to stay here for a long time waiting for the other one to come in? That's cool. The one thing I'd be worried about is sperm count after multiple breedings because I like to breed every 36 hours, and if you breed faster than that, the sperm count can drop lower, and if it gets too low, then you risk having fertility issues. So I don't know if I'd stick them both to scratch. I would use scratch for one of them and then somebody else for the other. Use his brother, Boomer. Not Boomer, Bumper. I had too many dogs with B. I had Boomer, Bumper, and Frankie Bump, and some people would get confused about them. Let's see. Well, let's see what else could we discuss for 2025. Who are we going to do as far as breedings go? Well, we'll have to see. I know that we use Slam a lot this year, and I'm looking forward to he's gonna, I'm sure, hammer some hogs. I want to get him out on some hogs. Does protection drive or family amplify gameness in the Sentinels? Protection drive is not going to amplify gameness, but gameness may amplify commitment in combat. So protection is not really a drive. You have defense if you're going to call that a protection drive, and then you have prey, and then you have fight. So I like to have a dog that works in prey and defense and fight, but my primary attraction to a dog that works in fight. And I know some people don't believe in fight drive, but hopefully if you disagree with me, you still know what I'm talking about. So similar to how wild animals are more willing to engage threats when they have cubs to protect. Now, that's going to be basically defense. So they're defending their family. The And no, I wouldn't say that. In fact, defense can sometimes be linked to insecurity, and insecurity can be linked to a lack of confidence and lack of commitment. Not always, but in some cases it can. So that's why I like a dog that works out a fight, because a dog that's more fight driven is more committed to the task. I don't like rank curs. Rank cur is a dog that's fighting to dominate. It's not really, and rank is a type of defense for those of you that don't know. But when they get into a, you can have a rank driven dog that gets into a altercation with something that's not going to quit, and a rank driven dog, even if it's dominating, will realize that it can't dominate ultimately because the dog won't, or that its opponent, a man, a dog, whatever, won't yield. And if it won't yield, it can't dominate it. And so that rank driven dog starts to doubt itself, thinking my opposition won't surrender. And if my opposition won't surrender, then I can't dominate. So they'll quit even on top. So I don't really like rank driven dogs. Scratches at the top of the line when it comes to Bandogs. Thank you. I feel the same way. What created, what inspired me to create my own line of Bandogs was there a specific purpose for incorporating the Sorrel strain into your program? Yes, there was definitely. So let me back up to the first part of this question. What inspired me to create my own line of Bandogs was because I got these dogs mainly because I just couldn't find out there what it was, everything that I was personally looking for in a dog. So, when I was looking for a specific thing, I wanted something that was very much like a pit bull, but was bigger and more protective. Sorry, I'm trying to hide those banners and then go back to my comments. Um, back to the comment. What was it that I was looking for? Something that was similar to a pit bull, but more protective and larger. And the reason why is because other breeds had left me um, wanting more. Some dogs shed too much and wanting more of what I wanted. A dog that sheds too much is not really what I like. A dog that has to look for the shade tree or the creek to cool down when I'm out hiking or and doing things like that is not what I like. I want a dog that's more athletic than me, so I don't have to wait on the dog. The dog is basically always ready to go. And if you want a good protection dog, in my opinion, it should be an athlete. This is one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of mastiffs. Although there are anomalies that can work, most mastiffs, if you were to take them for a jog, you're going to have a dog that's going to be overheated and not able to go for very far. And even if you did take it for a 5K, which is not very far, and you go back to, let's say you were camping and you walked in the mountains or trails or whatever, you go back to your camp, the dog's done. And when you get back to your camp, let's say somebody's raiding your camp. Well, your dog can't really help you because he's looking for a shade tree or a creek. So I wanted a dog that had a lot more stamina, that was more protective, still athletic, still powerful, and committed to combat when combat came to its path. So if you break in my house, a smaller dog, I'm not talking about a 30-pound dog. It needs to be big enough to be durable and big enough to be powerful. But if it's big enough and powerful enough to not be ignored, something that you've got to deal with as an attacker. Let's say Brock Lesnar comes into my house, super powerful guy, big and strong. Even Scarlet, 45-pound pit bull, is something he's going to have to pay attention to. Now, he might be able to handle that dog, but if you get into and Scarlet's probably 42 pounds, but when you get into a sentinel size, like 70 to 85 pounds for a female, maybe 95 pounds for a female if it's a big female, and male is going to be 10 pounds bigger than that. Going to be a small male is going to be like 80 pounds, a big male maybe 110. You're not going to be able to ignore that. And now you have a dog that's committed. If that dog is committed, you can't mess with my daughter. So I want that dog that's committed. That's the most important thing. So I wanted that commitment of the pit bull, but a more protective instinct, more size, more durability, more power. And that just really wasn't out there. Um, the second part of your question, why the sorrels? So when I was doing my research, the sorrel strain has been one of the most adaptable, if not the most adaptable pit bull strain that's out there. You can look them up. They've done Schutzen work. They did Schutzen work 30 something years ago. Um, Schutzhund and other bite work sports are more popular today. They weren't that popular 30 something years ago. And Sorrel's dogs were doing it. And then they've also done like French ring. They've done um, weight pull. They've done wall climb. They've done treadmill race, and they've done traditional game dog venues. So they've excelled in so many different things. They've done agility. They've done dock diving. They're just a very adaptable dog, and they're also super great with the family if you get the right one. Now that doesn't mean all Sorrel's dogs are that way. I have seen a few that were more timid, but most of the time, most of the time that's not the case. Some of the other lines that may be more popular, but the Sorrel's dogs have just been very healthy, strong, athletic, adaptable, highly trainable dogs that love to work. After living with a husky, I love clean up after the hair from my Bandog. Yeah, the American Sentinels are certainly much cleaner. And I had two Akitas, so I hear you on that one. That was 30 years ago when I had the Akitas. All right, we got another question here. What is the best diet if you're trying to keep a muscular build on your dog? Um, I like a higher protein food than most people, so I like the 30-20 formulas most of the time. If I can't get a 30-20, then a 28-20. But look at the source of that protein. You want it coming from meat, not necessarily plants, because you're looking at the amino acids. So also another quick thing. This is not always true because some dog foods have dye that colors the food, but I don't know why they would use dye unless you're trying to attack the person because the dog doesn't need any dye in its food. But one of the things you can look for is color. If the food is really dark, generally speaking, that's going to be less palatable. Not always, but that means it was cooked at a higher heat. And when you cook something at a higher heat, you're sometimes going to destroy some of the protein content. See, you can eat shoe leather, which is an animal product, but it's not going to provide you very many any nutrients because it's basically destroyed. All right, so and it's super tough. So you want your protein coming from a good meat source like beef or chicken, and even pork is okay or fish is okay, but basically make sure that your protein is coming from a meat. I'm not a big herbivore type of. Um, I don't believe in vegan diets at all for a dog. A dog's supposed to have a lot of meat, and there are raw foods out there that you can feed. Let me show you one here. Um, and we are going to be doing an updated video on this dog food company here. Let me show you this page. This is a very good company. I had a video on my YouTube channel for a little while about their feed that we took down because we're redoing this video. All right. So they have several different blends of their dog food, and they have here's a 80-10-10 blend, a base blend, a single protein blend, meaty blend. But let's see if I can find the blend that I prefer. Let's see if they have a search page. Because there's one called the Heritage Blend. I don't know if it's on the website yet. The Heritage Blend, there it is right here. This is the one I would recommend if you want to do it. I'm not a big fan of tripe. Some people love tripe. Okay, look, if you want tripe, that's your thing. Uh, the only raw food that I've ever had issues with is tripe. Now this is not cheap. Okay, so you're going to get 30 pounds of it for $100, but so it's not cheap. You want to save some money, go to 15 pounds. Okay, but it's not really going to save you money because you're getting twice as much for twice as much. So this is the formula from them that I recommend. And if you get this, they do have a discount code for our supporters. So if you buy this and then you're in your cart, there's a place for a discount code. Let's show you that. And if you do this, let's go to checkout. And I'm not going to buy this right now because I've got some on hand. But if you type in Bandog 10 and apply, you'll see a little bit of a discount. So that'll save you 10% on your order. So that was that was 90 pounds of food. So we can go back and we could edit that and change it. But I'm not going to buy it. So let me go back to my cart and get that out. I've already got some on hand. So if you type in Bandog 10, you'll save a little money. But you get the heritage blend. That doesn't have the tripe, but it still has organ meat, and that's what I meant to say. So I'm not a big fan of tripe because when you're dealing with tripe, you're getting the stomach contents, and sometimes an animal might have eaten something that is not necessarily good for your dog, and if it came across some poison that was sprayed on some crop or something like that, weeds, or drank some water that was bad, that's going to be in that animal's gut. And that may not happen very often, but like I said, the only time I've ever had a problem feeding raw was when there was tripe. So I avoid tripe personally. I don't want tripe. And I was talking to the guy that owns that company, the Foundation Raw. I don't know if y'all saw his URL. So let me go back and show you the URL. His URL is iFeedRaw. Okay. I'll show you that here. All right, so I don't know if you can see the URL on that. Let me go back to my page and see if you can even see the URL. Nope, you can't see it. All right, so if you just type in the Foundation Raw in Google, you'll find type in the Foundation Raw for the dog food, and you should see that page. All right, let's stop sharing that page. All right, and my point on all this is raw meat is going to have a much higher protein content on a dry matter basis. So I'm not sure what that protein content would be on beef. I'll look it up and tell you here real quick. Beef protein content, and it says the percentage is, let's look on a basis of dry matter, based on dry weight. All right, so what is the percentage? Well, I may not be able to get dry weight, but let's see, protein content. I got to type it in right. How many grams of protein are in 1 kilogram of beef? All right, so there's 259 grams of protein in 1 kilogram, which is 1,000 grams. So that's 25.9%, but that is on wet base. Okay, so now you dry it out. So let's type that in, dry beef. 590 grams. So beef is 59% protein. And people think that 30% protein is too high in a dry kibble. Go add water to that kibble. When you add water to that kibble, now your 30% protein is like 14% or 13%. So the amount of protein that's in dry kibble dog food is not high enough for me to ever be concerned about it. Because raw beef is going to be much, much, much higher because of the water dilutes it. So you got to take out the water weight and compare dry to dry or wet to wet. And then you're going to see that the protein content in kibble is not near as high. So if I want to build muscle, I'm going to feed a higher protein. I'm going to feed low carb. And I will have high fat too. Not so high that they get diarrhea. You don't want diarrhea because then you're not getting digestion. And too much fat will cause diarrhea. All right. What level do you recommend for a home guardian? Oh, what level dog? I would get a working class dog. I mean, pet class dog might work out, but it depends on when you say a home guardian, how athletic of a dog do you need? Do you need a dog that can jump a 6-foot fence, or do you need a dog that can just get in the car or climb a set of steps? So there's many reasons why a dog may be a pet class animal. Some pet class animals have perfect temperaments for home guardians. They just don't have enough athleticism to be an apex animal. So you might be fine with a with a pet class animal, or you might need a top tier athlete, um, apex animal. So yeah, you'd have to discuss your needs with me more specific than just home guardian. What's your lifestyle? What do you really expect from that dog day in and day out? Was Tudor's Daibo the most influential American Pit Bull Terrier? He was up there. I'm a huge fan of. I mean, Daibo's going to be in almost all of them, But I'm a big fan of Black Widow, Carver's Black Widow. I like that dog a lot. Of course, let's see. If you were to make your own raw dog food for muscle, how would you put it together? I wouldn't. I would buy just hamburger meat and eggs, I guess. That's what I would do. But I wouldn't do it just raw. I would feed kibble too because there's vitamins and minerals that you need. And if you don't get all those things, you really have to know what you're doing if you're just feeding raw. Okay. The Foundation Raw Heritage Blend is what I would recommend. I wouldn't get the tripe, but I would want the organ meat. So that's what I was going to say. I talked to him about what I liked and didn't like, and he said he actually came up with the Heritage Blend because of my views. So that's the only formula that he has that he came up with because of somebody else's views, and he told me he came up with that because of my personal views. So check that out. Check out the Heritage Blend. And look, the guy that owns that company is a great guy. Um, if you could have done anything difficult, would you? If you could have done, I guess he means different, because obviously a lot of things that we've done have been difficult. So I'm going to assume that he means different. But yeah, we would save some time culling some dogs earlier and breeding other dogs more. But it is what it is. Can you describe the ideal living environment for your sentinel space requirements, suburbs? They can adapt. Um, it's not necessarily that they're active, but the when you have a more energetic lifestyle, it's going to be easier for the dog to live in a smaller space and be content. So I like to have if you don't have a lot of space, just exercise that dog daily, or at least 3 or 4 times a week at least, and keep them healthy and active and the mind busy. And they can adapt really well. I mean, I got a dog right now just sitting on the couch here next to me. As long as I'm in here, that's where he's going to be. You know, so they're fine. And have a good cage if you need it. Like if you have a female in heat or something like that, you don't want her climbing on your furniture, but they'll adjust with it as long as you're respectful enough to get them out and let them exercise. Uh, and let me go back to this. I keep my dogs on leash, and the only time they're off leash is if I'm doing training, or they're in the house, or in the kennel. And that's because I believe in leash laws. I don't want my dogs seeing. I saw 4 deer today. I didn't even tell. I meant to tell my wife and kid daughter about it, but I saw 4 deer today just right across the street from us. Let's say if I had a dog out there with no leash, that dog sees those deer, he's boom, he's going to hunt. And so next thing you know, he crosses somebody's property, and there's a problem. So I keep my dogs on leash unless we are in a fenced-in area or I'm doing training. Um, any upcoming complete package breedings? Well, I'm not doing a breeding unless I think it's going to be a complete package. That doesn't mean it all works out every time, but that's the objective of every breeding. Now, the best ones that you can say are going to be the most likely to be a complete package is going to be a repeat breeding. So when we do a repeat breeding that worked really well the first time, those dogs are going to have a higher likelihood of being a complete package, but they're also going to cost more because I know they're a complete package. However, that said, any of the breedings that we have, I have faith in. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. You got to remember, we've been breeding these dogs for 25 years, almost 24 years, and as a result of that, I've produced a lot of dogs. And every time I do a breeding, I'm looking at where's the apex, where's the cull, and you know what the cull is? A lot of people think the cull is crap. Not after 25 years. We've we've got 30 dogs on the yard. So on my yard, the cull is just the one that's at the bottom of our yard. And the dog that's at the bottom of our yard, it's here because it's a good dog. So if we ever let go of a dog um, that's grown, it's probably a pretty good dog. Okay, um, but and I wouldn't keep it if or breed it if I didn't believe in it. When trying to build prey drive, do you agree with getting a small chicken from a feed store? No, um, no, you don't need to do anything that's going to be animal abuse because that'll get you in trouble. Just use a rag on a pole. A flirt pole works great. We have video. I don't know if you know what a flirt pole is. So let me show you a flirt pole. The only video on my channel that I can recall off the top of my head is an old video with splash. So let me type in splash on my YouTube channel, and this is going to be a flirt pole. I need to make a new one. I need to make a new flirt pole. What happens when people come here? They end up wanting my equipment, and if it's something that's inexpensive like a flirt pole or a rag on a tug, a lot of times we end up giving them away. And I haven't made a new flirt pole in a while. We've just been using a rag, a burlap sack, but this is a flirt pole. So, so here you can see it. This is a PVC pipe cut to about 6.5 feet tall. That one there maybe may look like it's 6 feet next to that man, but I think it's tilted sideways or something. That side's on his right. You can see his hand holding his right, and the other side's behind his left foot. So it's going a little bit diagonal. You just can't see it here. But that pole's about, there you go. Whoop, maybe not.
Tell me get that again.
Old video. But the pole's about 6.5 or 7 feet long, and then you get you a 15-foot rope. Tie a knot in it really tight, and the rope is so this is like a 1 inch. No, that's a 3/4 inch pipe, PVC pipe.
Yeah. Tell him to get in the truck. Go ahead.
And all right, so here you got a 3/4 inch PVC pipe and a 3/4 inch rope, and you tie a knot, or a 5/8 inch rope. That's what it is, 5/8, I think. Tie a knot in it really tight. Run the rope through. After you run the rope through, you tie a loose knot. Don't pull it tight yet on the other end, but then you grab the rope and you pull it really tight in the pole, and then you snug that knot down on the other side of the pole. Now with the PVC pipe having the rope run all the way through it, when that dog pulls on that pipe and it bends like a fishing pole, it won't collapse and fold on you because it's got a rope inside the core to give it some to fill that void so it can't fold on itself. And then you have about 7 feet more of rope because the rope was originally 15 foot long, but you've got one knot here and one knot here, and then at the other end you're going to tie another knot about 8 inches from the end. So the 3 knots together might take up about 1 foot. So you got a 7-foot pole and 7 foot of rope hanging out, and then you use that like this. I remember trying to swing this dog around my head, but
Here's why he's named Splash. He likes to swim.
I just throw the pole in the water. And he goes out there and gets it, retrieves it.
Get it, boy, get it.
That's a stick. You want to go dock diving with your dog? He'll do it.
That's probably 12 or 14 feet.
Wasn't as far that time. Anyway, that's a flirt pole. Hope that answers your question. Next, how to biscuit. How do Biscuit and Ladysmith produce? Ladysmith has produced my female Chewy, who's doing really good, and there's a couple others out there that are out of Vlad and Ladysmith. That was that breeding, and people have been very happy with that. So I like that combination. And then Biscuit, this is her first breeding, so we don't know. We got to wait and see. But she's double red on Halo, who was our top producing female for probably the last 7 years or so or 6 years, whatever. Because obviously she's like 7 or 8 years old, but didn't breed her the first year. So Biscuit should produce well, but should and do are two different things. You got to wait for the proof in the pudding. All right, next. Who is the hardest mouth sentinel to date? I don't know. Don't know. People say ow or holler, but I don't know. There's been several of them that are pretty hard mouth. Wish I could answer that question for you, John, but it would be pure speculation. Ladysmith's got a hell of a mouth for a female. I know that. Which of your dogs have the strongest hide? Any of them that are pretty thick hide. Justice has got a good hide. Scratch has got a good hide. I can't really say which one's got the strongest hide. I would say Jazz is a little thinner hide, but other than her, I'm trying to think if there's any that stand out. I don't know of any of them that got a thin hide except for maybe Jazz. Next. All right. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It's been an hour and 14 minutes. Hey, before y'all leave, see we got 28 people in here. I don't know how many. We have 21 people that have given us thumbs up. If 28 of any of you are in here, why don't y'all jump down there and hit a thumbs up on that? I want to see that number go up. Maybe it's higher than that, but I certainly do appreciate y'all coming in and visiting tonight. But y'all take care and have a blessed day. We're going to call it quits and see you around. We have tune in soon. We have a video coming out real soon on canine genetics. It should be a really good video. It's going to have some slides in it to outline some things that I want to emphasize that need to be discussed when we get questions about genetics. So thanks again for stopping by. Y'all have a blessed night. Take care. See you soon.